everybody? Y'all know who it is. It's the Feed over here with Pinpoint Podcast. Y'all know today we started back up our Pinpoint Podcast for the year. We took us about a 3-4 month break. Hope you see our last podcast. You didn't, go to Pinpoint Foundation YouTube. But hey, we got an exciting new guest here in 2023, our first guest for 2023. And what we like we do at all our Pinpoint Podcast, tell you a little bit about our guests. First of all, y'all know all guests are special.
I was just released from federal prison about a year and a half ago, in which I served 26 years. I fell October 16th, 1995, the day of the Million Man March.
1995.
1995, and I was released in 2021, November 2021.
November 2020.
Often we make mistakes, and often we start looking around and what we always do, we always find somebody else to blame for their mistakes. Whether we're in the street, somebody ends up telling on us, we're going to blame the person who told on us. Whether we're in a relationship, slap the hell out your girl, you're going to blame her for pissing you off. For whatever we do, when you got your kids and the baby mama, y'all tripping, or your wife, if you're married to her, you tripping, you're going to blame them while you ain't going to take care of them no more. We give a lot of excuses to justify our, bullshit reasoning. To follow me? For ourselves. But this is where I hope as part of this re-entry, y'all don't do or stop and cease to do it.
Welcome to the new townhome residence coming soon, Pinpoint Park. These modern luxury units will be located on Butner Road in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, just minutes away from the downtown area and the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. The 7 units will include an open floor plan, rooftop patio, 3 bedrooms with 2 masters, and so many more luxurious details. For more information on Pinpoint Foundation's latest development, please visit pinpointfoundation.org. And for interest in pre-sales, please visit our website, pinpointbrokers.net. We hope your new home awaits you.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Pinpoint Podcast. We were speaking to old Eric, and he was telling us how he began the crip. Got jumped into the crip game at 15. Got the robbery, got his first attempted murder case. Ended up in CYA. From CYA, they messed over and gave you a M number.
They gave me an M number on
violation
with a state number, which was H number, which was a state prison number. So it was already in the making. They already knew that I was going to prison.
Right. They groom every young man in California. You get caught up in juvenile, we're going to give you these numbers. You ain't going to know what it means, but yes, your record ain't going to be expunged if we give you the number early. Yes. But we're going to send you back to let you do your time in the youth, thinking you getting away with something. Soon you catch another case that we know, but this time you catch a change.
Straight to the penitentiary.
Right, straight to the penitentiary. You say when you walked through the penitentiary the first time at 18, you was in Chino.
Yeah.
And that was when you was really nervous.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous.
You said you got adjusted. How long did it take, or how fast did it take for you to get adjusted?
You got to get adjusted quick. As soon as the nerves come, you got to get rid of them quick.
Yeah, take that deep breath.
Yeah, you ain't got no time to be nervous. You know, you get them butterflies,
right?
And then the first person say something to you, you're like, "What's up?" And you let them know who you is, where you from, and now you in there. You know, you in there.
Take care of your business.
Absolutely.
You can't back down from nothing.
Absolutely. Because everybody watching everything. You got homeboys. Like, you can be tested by somebody just on the strength but you got a homie right down the way, just watching, seeing how you gonna react.
Right,
If you react the wrong way, then you're violated.
And they ain't fucking with you.
You violated.
So when you went in there, you had to let them know you was a crip.
Absolutely.
And then you end up getting with your crew.
Yep, absolutely.
Then you jump right into the mix.
Right into the mix.
Was you making money? Because I know you said when you came out,
No.
your thought process was coming out and rob you some banks.
Yeah, but in Chino at the time, I was there with one of the big homies, rest in peace, and he put me up under the wing, and he was getting that pack in.
Right.
So he like, you got a girl? I like, yeah. All right, I'm gonna have my girl pick her up, bring her up here. And my girl and his girl became tight, and we was getting that pack in. Me and him had it all.
Right.
At that time.
Okay, so you had to jump right on in there, working and everything.
Absolutely.
How you feel? Because you was the Robin Hood, but then you put your girl in a predicament where she could be in there with you.
Yeah, but you ain't.
I know you ain't thinking you young.
Back then, you young, and you think you get away with everything. You ain't even thinking about getting caught.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You think about, we're going to get this money and you going to benefit too.
Right.
Because the money I get here, I got to get it out. I got to send it out to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're going to get something off the top anyway from handling your business.
And that's when you did your 18 month violation.
That's when I did my 18 months. I originally had a year violation, a straight bullet.
Right.
But I turned it into 18 months because I was messing up. I was fucking
What
up.
was the scariest or the worst thing you did at your 18 when you was young?
The scariest? I would probably say just the first time a riot kicked off. It was a little shocking because how it kicked off, it was just like that. Like sometimes you don't even see it coming.
Right.
But like I say, just like with nerves, you gotta let that shit pass because your life could depend on it.
Right.
So you see it, and then you gotta react. And I became, the more I was involved in stuff like that, the quicker I started reacting.
So how you turn your 12 months to 18 months?
Fucking up, fighting, involved in the bullshit, and then every time the parole. So we got a parole board. So if you catch a shot and you're on violation, they'll come down. So 2 times I got caught up. They hit me for 90 days at a time. 90 days. And it came to the point where the big homies told me, man, sit your ass down. You only on a violation. You benefit us better out there.
Right.
And these are homies that had life or had numbers.
Right.
So they're like, sit down.
And how many prisons you touched when you went there from Chino?
Yeah, in the state, I just touched 3 prisons: Chino, Chuckawalla, and then Ironwood.
Where were you in Chuckawalla and Ironwood?
I was in Chuckawalla. I got to Chuckawalla the end of '93. I was only on Chuckawalla yard for about 3-4 months.
Okay. So they transfer y'all around like that in
If you get disciplinary, and they feel like you can't be on that yard because you were a problem on that yard, they're gonna get you out. And being that I was on a level 2, and level 2 is supposed to be really calm and kick back, but I was in the bullshit on level 2, so they sent me to level 3.
Right.
The higher the levels, the more bullshit it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The more politics play a part, the more violent it becomes. You know what I'm saying? So they set me down in Ironwood, but I had I only had about 4 or 5 months left when I went to Ironwood, so I didn't stay there long. I got out of Ironwood in November of '94, and I got to Ironwood in March of '94.
So you getting ready to come home. You come home in '94 then.
I came home in '94.
So you come home in '94. You done did 2 bids, the CYA and then
state prison.
and state prison.
Yes.
So now you come home. You say you fresh out. Was you still with that girl? She ran out with the money.
No. So
she ran out with the money.
No, about 6 months. No, after I caught my 3rd incident where I got an additional 90 days.
Right.
She's like, I can't do this no more. You ain't coming home. You fucking elbow. by the way, you know, I've been seeing somebody. It is what it is.
Right.
You played yourself. I got 90 days left.
Right.
So I got out and I ain't fuck with her.
Okay. So when you come home, how soon did you start hitting licks and how long did you stay out?
Okay, so when I got home,
Robbing bank. Hit me with robbing bank.
Before I robbed banks, when I got home, so I was little fish. Baby fish was under me. You know what I'm saying?
And you picked him like you got picked?
Yeah, but big fish really picked both of us.
Okay.
Baby fish should have been little fish
Okay.
because he was like big fish brother.
Oh.
But he wasn't ready yet. So when he became ready, I put him on the hood.
Right.
And he became baby fish.
Oh, okay.
So when I got out, baby fish, he was already in the mix. And he couldn't wait for me to come home because he had stopped fucking with certain homies. And he was like, I couldn't wait till you get home. I was just falling back until you got home. And he already had some licks for us.
Right.
So, just so happened, 3 days or 4 days after I get out, one of my loved ones, Big A-Mon, ended up getting killed. So when he got killed, that put me right back in a war zone.
Right.
So we put the bank robberies off for a couple weeks. So after that, the war died down. Baby Fish was like, I got one for us, come on. Now mind you, a lot of the homeboys thought I was too wild. So a few of the homies didn't want to fuck with me on the bank robberies. They're like, you too wild. You be on stupos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Baby Fish was like, I got you. So we went on our first one. Then it ended up being the second one. And the next thing you know, we was like 5, 6 in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Was y'all armed robbers?
the first couple was just bounce over the counter. Boom, no pistols.
Right.
But then we elevated our game and we started doing takeovers. And that's when we
When
started.
you say take over the bank?
Yeah, we started walking the managers in the morning before the bank opened.
Right.
And we started hitting the votes.
They had some hell of a balls, they're like golden balls and some shit. How you get the nerve and the courage to do that? The nerve, not the courage, the nerve.
We was reckless, you know what I'm saying? And at that time, it's like, so we had a crew called the Wolf Pack, and we was wolves. Wolves is hungry. Wolves gonna get that bag. And so, you know, it was just one of them things, man. But believe it or not, and I'm not trying to glorify what I did.
No, you're young, we're just talking about
But
everything over here on Pinpoint Park.
but it was just too easy.
Right.
It was easy. I didn't get caught in no banks. I got told on. You know what I'm saying? So, and it became an addiction. It came an addiction to where it's like, okay, we'll pass for $8.90. We go to the hood, we buying this, buying that, we blowing money. You know what I'm saying? And we not, you know, we didn't work for it, so we not, you know, we really not valuing it. We just blowing it.
So let me ask you this here. You don't gotta answer the question, but I gotta ask. What was your highest lick? You done did 26 motherfucking years. You had, you know, you did your time.
Yeah, I did my time.
What was the most y'all got out of a bank from a robbery?
We got like 2 and some change. That was the most. Right. But it's crazy because
that was a lot of money back in the 1990s.
It was, but we had a crew from the hood that passed for 500. So our whole goal was like, damn, we got to get that 500. We know it's in there. So every time we miss that mark, it's like we looking for some more. Like, man, we got to get that half a ticket.
What was the least?
Ooh, we had a bad one. We had one that went wrong, and we only got like 6,000 of mutilated funds. That means the money that they really didn't want.
Oh.
And
Does that make a difference?
What make a difference?
Well, the money they really didn't want.
I mean, we spent it.
Yeah.
You know, we taped some of it up, but it's called mutilated funds because, you know, when you get them ripped out currencies and somebody that's probably burnt and it's old, and so they got a special thing for it. So these ladies in the bank, they were so nervous they couldn't open the vote. They was like, take this. And by that time, we was in that motherfucker for about 10 minutes. And you don't supposed to be in nothing no longer than 2-3 minutes. And so we just took it, and when we got back, we was like, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all never got caught with any bags, with blow-up bags?
So, and I got a blow-up story. So my guy, Baby Fish, rest in peace, man. He died in prison. We had a ride in Victorville. He ended up getting killed. And,
he fell with you?
Yeah. That
Oh,
was
we're
my
gonna get to that
co-defendant.
then.
My
Okay,
co-defendant. So one day we in the back of the car. So we had a white girl. She used to drive. So the police was just missing us sometime. But we in the back. So the white girl ride right by. They don't look at her. So one day we in the back. So one of the homies was like, "What's this?" He passed me some shit that had a blow up pack in it. I don't know. I passed to my guy. "What's this?" He rolled down the window. "Let's blow up, cuz." Just that quick. Thank God it didn't blow up on us.
Right.
But we did get some money with blow up. We didn't get none with tractor in it. Because one thing about my guy, he was younger than me, but he was a vet because he, like I say, they was robbing banks the whole time that I was in.
Locked up.
Yeah. So he had experience. So what you're supposed to do when you get the money out the safe, squeeze it. Squeeze it, throw it in the back. Squeeze it, throw it in the back. Because we got shit with still wrappers in it.
Right.
Squeeze it, throw it in the bag. So that particular time, the homie that was with us didn't squeeze, and we almost got caught up with some ink.
So, wow, okay. I know y'all was glad y'all threw that. They would just knew y'all. Y'all would have dished the car.
Nah, I know people that got caught up with that ink and it chokes you out. It blows up in the car, it chokes you out, dye all over you. So when the police come, you got dye all over you. You can't say it wasn't me.
Right. So you never got caught. All your bank robberies actually was successful.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I remember a week before the feds came and got me, my mom's cooking. And so I promised my moms I wouldn't sell dope, right? So she was like, "Boo-boo, you selling dope. How you be having all this money? You be giving me all this money?" I said, "I don't sell dope, Mom." She said, "You doing something?" I said, "I don't sell dope." She said, "Well, what you doing?" I looked at her for a minute. I said, "I'm a bank robber." She got the stuttering, then dropped the spatula. "Well, why you ain't on America's Most Wanted?" And I told her straight, with a straight face, I said, "I'm too good." And I actually thought that I was good at it.
Right.
Because I hadn't got caught in the act of one.
Right.
I did my homework, I did my research, I knew everything I needed to know about that particular robbery on
Follow people?
day. Huh?
Did you have to follow your managers and all that?
And I knew where their kids went to school and everything.
Oh, so you did your fucking homework.
So when you tell them your child go to this school, bust this vote open, they gonna bust that vote open because I know something.
Right.
You know, and once again, I'm not glorifying it, but back then, those were the tactics.
Right.
Those were the tactics that I used to get what I wanted.
Okay. And you say you got caught up with somebody telling on you.
Yeah.
So your last bank, let's go to your last bank robbery before somebody told on you. Or because you didn't know that was your last bank robbery.
Alright, so the person that told on me ended up being the white girl I was telling you about. So we had some people in Alabama, and at the time, you get like $1,200 for a pound of that cheap weed. So my guy was like,
it was considered good back then.
yeah, but we was getting for like $250 a pound. So my guy was like, "Fuck that! I got some people out there. Let's get these pounds and let's move them to Alabama." It's like, "Well, we need somebody to take them." So we're like, "Fuck it, let Mary take them." One thing I realized is sometimes people are good at one thing, but they're not good at this thing. And a lot of times you can't be mixing them.
Right.
So when we gave her the pounds,
That's why in the bank they train this person to be a teller, this person to be a bank manager, this person to be a man. Yeah.
yeah. So
Good at where we train you.
absolutely. So out the gate, when we dropped, my people dropped Mary off at the airport, they detected she was nervous. So they followed her through the airport. She making nervous moves. So they, "Ma'am, can I check that bag?" She was like, "Sure." They get the pounds. She said, "Well, like, who you get this from?" "Well, I got it from the fishes, little fish, baby fish." "Oh yeah?" She said, "Yeah, and they rob banks." Once she said they rob banks, they was like, "Fuck this weed.
Yeah.
Tell us about these banks." And for the longest, they didn't know who was committing these robberies. They had us as the early morning bandits, but they didn't know who we were. So once she told them, they're like, "Ooh,
So in South Central LA, they
we've
know
been looking for them."
They know y'all was known as the early.
Yeah.
What she get caught up at?
She got caught up at Ontario Airport
Oh, in California.
in California. She didn't even make it to Alabama.
Right.
So once she told them that, they were like, oh, they called it a few of their people, like, these are the guys we've been looking for. So what they did was they let her go. But now they put a bug on her phone. They got her mic'd up. So we were supposed to go on a lick, and she kept shaking us, and I'm mad, like, what the fuck wrong with you? I told you this shit is velvet. So they got all this on recording. It was velvet. That's what we refer to as it's sweet.
Sweet.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is velvet, man.
You know, me being from Houston, we got different terms.
No, I get it. So she was saying she was sick. So she was stalling us for the Fed.
Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. I got diamonds doing twisty slides in both ears. Dice rolling on the Las Vegas strips and dice. Slip that on and we might miss the fight. Fuck a night, I keep the guala in my shorty bag. You know she won the line when she tattooed that ass. I'm a lover boy, she got her toys. Keep it coming in my rider. This that roll myself a J and count my figure shit. This that stepping out, I feel like I'm that nigga shit. I drop 30 on this room, we ain't gon' sleep for shit. If I catch you nodding off, then it's gon' be some shit. But you can do what you.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Pinpoint Podcast. We still in our Pinpoint Podcast talking to old Mr. Eric over here, talking about the life of growing up in South Central LA. We also, I guess, like boys in the hood, part of that is because they do the
Yeah.
Now they went around looking for the dude.
Yeah.
But we back at Pinpoint Podcast. And you know, at Pinpoint Podcast, we always talk about real things, real life situations that lead up to real estate, because all things is real estate here. So we're going to jump right back in and we're going to do a little short recap. Recap is when you got caught up for Mary told on y'all, a white girl that y'all trusted in the 1990s, but y'all knew y'all wasn't supposed to be trusted because y'all was young and wild, y'all trusted the white girl Mary. Right? So Mary got caught up with the weed in Ontario, California. When she got caught up in Ontario, California, she put y'all together and said, shit, fuck, we got weed and bank robbers. Yeah. And the Fed, like, forget the bank robbery.
No, they're like, forget the weed.
Yeah, forget the weed. Y'all know the early morning bandit. Y'all the early morning bandit. When y'all went back through, y'all hit that, y'all figured out. They picked you up. Then y'all hit one more lick. Then after that one more lick, they knew y'all did what y'all did. Then they went and say, fuck it, let's go pick them up.
Yeah.
They took y'all.
Because of the style of robberies, they knew that.
Yeah, they fit what they call the MO.
Absolutely.
So, right, I'm gonna go there. So when they do a recap, so they picked y'all up, they took y'all down to the federal building. Y'all thought y'all were gonna beat the case. Couldn't beat the case because they violated y'all with the Brady Act.
Yes.
By not disclosing the information. For those of y'all who don't know what the Brady Act is, Brady Act is the Brady Act is where you can't withhold information from the other party. The DA or the AUSA in this particular case can't withhold information from the defendant's attorney. The defendant's attorney can't withhold information from the AUSA or the DA. So that's what they violated. You file your appeals all the way up to your 2255. Didn't do it, but let's gird back. You touched down. You got sentenced. Your fall partner was Big Fish because you lived.
No, Babyfish.
Babyfish was your fall partner. So we left off as Babyfish being his fall partner. Then here we go now. Babyfish, you fall up on the same yard with him in Long Park.
In Long Park, we started off in Long Park.
Y'all started, so let's pick up in Long Park. You meet up with your Cody, you're still Crip affiliated,
Yes.
Still very Crip active.
Yes.
And y'all going to federal penitentiary,
Yes.
USP.
Yes.
Where's USP Long Park?
It's in Long Park, California. It's in Long Park, California. It's a USP. one of the few toughest prisons at the time in the United States.
Right.
You know.
Toughest federal prisons.
Yes, one of the toughest federal prisons in the United States at the time. You got a few. The Lompoc was one of them. I was with Babyfish on the run. Like, I don't usually stay long because I'm always getting in trouble at that time. You know, before I grew up.
Right.
I was always getting in trouble.
When you saying getting in trouble, fighting and doing everything.
In this particular case, I had assault on the staff, which stemmed from when I was in Lompoc. I had a relationship with one of the staff members there, and you know, so they slammed me, sent me to the hole, and while I'm in the hole, they was harassing me.
A lot of people don't know what the hole is.
Solitary confinement.
And move you away from everybody.
Yes.
And when they sent you to the hole, you didn't have a cell in the hole.
Yeah, I had a cellie. I had a couple cellies, and
couple.
Yeah, no,
you mean by yourself or you?
No, I had a cellie.
Okay.
And then when somebody get out the hole, and they bring another cellie, because I was in the hole in Lompoc for probably about 6 months. You know, they don't take lightly when you're messing with their officers. And this particular staff member had a husband there. So, you know, that good old boy network, they harassed me a lot. And they forced my hand. And I ended up catching assault on one of them when they came in my cell.
Right.
And so they used that to send me to USP Marion.
But before we get to Marion and Lompoc, you with Big Fish.
Babyfish.
Babyfish, I'm sorry. And you lost Babyfish.
Not at Lompoc.
Okay, well, okay. But at Lompoc, that's when you kind of shot. How long did you stay on the yard before you got sent to the hole?
A few months. Okay. A few months, and so then I was in the hole for about 6 months, and they ended up sending me to USP Marion, which was a lockdown facility where you spend like 21 and a half hours in the cell a day, because you come out for 2.5 hours for recreation, where you do your push-ups, dips, pull-ups, whatever on the tier, you shower, and they slam you back in your cell. Now here, it was single-man cells. So I stayed in USP Marion for six years and 10 months, almost 7 years. And
that's your longest stint.
That's my longest stem, and even though
on 1 yard,
on 1 yard, and even though like to the regular person, it seemed like, damn, you was in solitary confinement for damn near 7 years, but that 7 years was needed because it was there when I started doing research on myself and learning who I was as a man.
So when you first got to federal prison,
yeah,
you did 6 months at Lompoc.
In a hole in Lompoc.
In a hole, but you did 8 months, 9 months on that Lompoc altogether.
I got there in July of 97. And no. July 98. July 98, I got to Lompoc, and it was 99, like, I want to say about June 99, I left Lompoc. No, June 99, I was in the hole still. I got to USP Marion October of 99. I remember it was close.
So you stayed 2 years at Lompoc?
No. I didn't stay 2 years at Lompoc. I got to Lompoc in 98. I stayed in Lompoc a little under a year.
Okay.
A little under a year, and I was sent to USP Marion. I'm trying to get the days right. July 98. I stayed about almost a year, a little over a year in Lompoc. But most of that was in the hole.
So let me ask you this before we get to Marion. So you go back to CYA, then you go to Chino, and then the other two, I forget their name.
CYA, Chino, Chuckawalla, and then Ironwood.
Yeah. Okay, now you're in Lompoc.
Now I'm in Lompoc.
Out of them different prisons, there's 4 different prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from the street, robbing bank, crip affiliated.
Yes.
How, I don't want to now, we'll get to the now later with mindset. Back then, how was that mindset being crip affiliated, and how did you feel like that put you in situations? Did you get put in situations because you automatically affiliated, or you got in situations, because like you said, you was damn fool.
Both.
Right.
You know, earlier, especially in Line Park, you know, just living up to that reputation, because when we first hit the line, everybody knew the fishes is coming. You know what I'm saying? And we was on the streets. We was beefing. We was beefing hard. So a lot of people thought it was gonna be instant drama, especially with a particular set when we got there.
Crip against crip?
Yes, crip against crip. And you know, but in the feds, you gotta. It's a way in the feds where even your enemy become your comrade because we from California. So you gotta put that street shit to the side.
The geometric.
Yeah, it's geographical.
Geographical.
So you gotta put that gang shit or that hood shit to the side when you hit the feds. You know, you might catch a fade with somebody that you really was beefing with. Like, we gotta catch this fade.
No.
And then we gonna...
I know what the fade is. Tell people what the fade is.
Fade is like, we gotta fight. We're gonna go over here, we're gonna lock it up, we're gonna fight. Just me and you. Ain't nobody involved. We're gonna get that off our chest.
No knives, no nothing.
No, I'm saying, and that's how it used to be back in the days, where you can go man to man, let's go catch this fade, and then we're gonna move forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna gain that level of respect.
Yeah, because you know what we was on the streets. So, but for the most part, especially being from California, when you in the feds, like, some of my closest comrades was Bloods.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we was in the feds. Because if you send us to Allenwood, Pennsylvania, and it's only 9 of us on the yard, and it's 100 dudes from Philly or 100 dudes from DC or whatever they might be, we gotta stick together if the smoke, if something kick off.
But in the state, it's just the opposite.
And the state is different. You know what I'm saying? Unless it becomes racial, then, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, in the feds, it's like I say, some of my closest comrades was Bloods, Full Trade Gangsters, which is a set that we was beefing with on the streets.
Now, before we go there, just something you just said to pick up on. You said, unless it was racial. So have you ever been caught up in a racial ride in the state, and then we're going to come back to the feds?
In the state?
Because at this point, you got your 986 months. But you really did a whole nother, what that, 36,
I did 18
42. Yeah, so that's 42. You did 2 years.
2 years.
And 18 months, so it was 42 months.
No, that's 38 months.
38 months? Yeah, Lord, hey, look.
No, you're right. You're right. I forgot about the 4.
Yeah,
I forgot about the 4.
So, so you did that, 42 months. 42 months, I've been in and out, well, not really in and out 2 years, then 18 months. You got caught up in the racial.
Yeah.
Racial riot.
I got caught up in one racial riot.
And you were blessed to survive, because you're always blessed to survive.
Always blessed.
Ain't no day to come out.
Absolutely.
How was that feeling? How did you feel when you got caught up in the racial riot? And then where was that at?
That was in Ironwood. That was in Ironwood, and I mean, really, it just become business. Like you become so immune to those environments to where the abnormal becomes normal to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Common folk won't get it, but once you in that environment, it just becomes normal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
you gotta do what you gotta do to take care of your
you get the
business.
butterflies.
Everybody gets the butterflies.
But you still react accordingly.
Right. So let's go back from Long Park. You're in the hole. They get ready to move you.
Yes.
So you get moved to Marion.
USP Marion.
USP Marion was it like a whole? No, USP Marion.
That was the lockdown.
That was lockdown.
USP Marion was ADX before they built ADX,
Right.
which is the maximum security prison in Colorado. So Marion, USP Marion was just one step below ADX.
Right.
You know? So
Did they have you in the gang unit?
well, they had me with the homies, but then it was dudes from Texas on our tier. You know, a couple Chicago dudes. You know what I'm saying? It was a mix, but they try to separate you as best they can.
Right. What do you mean separate?
In regards, they try to keep mostly Cali dudes together, mostly New York dudes together. But say if you a problem in another unit and they want to dog you, they'll send you where, you know what I'm saying?
They'll ship you around.
Where it's dudes from other states. They'll make you uncomfortable. They try to do that. They try to make you uncomfortable.
So you got married.
Yeah.
Comfort. Did your man, Baby Fish, come down?
Nah, Baby Fish.
What did y'all, because you stayed at Marion how long?
I stayed in Marion almost 7 years, 6 years and 10 months.
Okay. Did you get in any trouble?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and most of my trouble.
Oh yeah.
No, most of my trouble in Marion came from disciplining my own homies though. You know what I'm saying? Either disciplining my own homies or cell extractions, which is
discipline your own homies like they do.
Yeah, if they say for instance, like Marion, it's based on respect. So you quiet at certain times of the night. You don't be talking on a tier past 10 o'clock. It's respect thing because you're around other men of respect. And if you get a homeboy that come and don't respect the rules of the range, then it's up to you to discipline that homeboy.
This is your wilderness. And your wilderness, your action got you there. So it could have been either two ways. One of the ways that you could not be talking to me, Mr. Holmes or Mr. Jenkins, if he could have caused you to have death in your life. Could have took you away from it. You follow me? Even though you want to blame somebody, but the following thing is, you here for a reason. Now you might say, man, I've been here too long, but you probably ain't been cured yet. You probably ain't got that re-entry back in you, the right type of re-entry back in you. So he stuck you in here, behind in the wilderness, which we call the jail, the wilderness. The wilderness where he want to humble you. Because the one thing we know about jail, Mr. White, it's going to humble us. It's going to teach us patience. We could be the most impatient people on the outside, but on the inside, some type of way, we learn to mind, like I always talked about in the beginning, because you're going to mind two different ways. You're going to mind on your own, being smart, Mr. Gill, or either you're going to mind, guess what, in here. When they get to shaking up keys, count time, when they tell you when you got to go to child, and when they going to tell you all the things that you got to do that you don't want to do. So
there wasn't no love lost. It's business, you know.
Everything with you is business.
I mean,
so you're right. You might be a businessman. Because you say everything business. Slap the shit out of a nigga, discipline a nigga. Or discipline a man. You know, we don't pick on podcast. Discipline a nigga because we discipline. In the joint, the belly of the beast, the den of iniquity. When you discipline, put them in place.
yeah.
And just and let them know, hey, you part of this.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so you don't get us to bump ahead with others. You gotta respect the rules, because the rules is what we live by and what we survive.
Absolutely. And it ain't no love lost, you know. And then you know, a couple cell extractions, because you know if one homie go with the police, everybody gotta go. So if one homie bucking, then we all bucking. And you know, it's been times when they came in there with the tear gas and drug us up out of there, you know, because we was all bucking. You know, but other than that, for the most part, USP Marion, I just use that as just, like I say, I know you want to get back into it later, but that was my turning point of becoming a real man standing on my own, learning who I was as a black man.
And how old were you about then? When
I was 25 when I hit USP Marion. I was 25, and that was probably the best experience for me. You know, because when they finally released me from USP Marion, they sent me back to USP Victorville, which is in California.
Okay.
And when I used to sag and all of that stuff, I wasn't sagging no more. My pants was pulled up, my vocabulary had changed. I wasn't using really any disrespectful words towards women or to us as black men. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Baby Fish. He used to look at me and he used to tell the homies like, dang, the homie different now. Because while all the homies would be grouped up doing what they doing, I'll be somewhere reading a book. Still watching everything, still with my knife, but at the same time, I'm reading and
So you kept that thing on.
You had to.
Right.
You had to.
Get it used it or gonna use it?
Or get it used on you. And it's something that, you know, it just is what it is.
It's prison.
You gotta protect yourself. It's prison.
Right.
You know? So
And then you was in the USP.
I was in the USP.
Well, you had to keep that thing on.
Yes, you had, because as soon as you hit the USP, the homie gonna give it to you.
Right.
There ain't no way around it. Here. First thing they say, where your paperwork at? Everybody knew me though, for the most part, but where your paperwork? Okay, here, take this.
And your paperwork was to show you wasn't cooperating with the federal government.
Yeah, showing you wasn't hot.
So we to go by the paperwork, because you can see a lot of that on social media and all that. All these guys, all the rapper guys, everybody talking about paperwork.
Yeah.
But I know you probably laugh at it. I don't know how you feel about it. But anyway, with the paperwork, they hit the yard and they don't want to give up their paperwork. Or somebody put a jacket on somebody without seeing the paperwork. What was the consequences to those acts? If it was one of your homies.
You put a jacket on somebody and you ain't got no paperwork, and you fuck around and get disciplined. Now we ain't gonna roll you up, but we're gonna discipline you.
And when you say roll you up,
Make you go to the hole. Make you go up top.
and get shipped off the yard.
Yeah. But really, you can't put nobody out there unless you got that paperwork. And if the person they hit the yard ain't got no paperwork, then they suspect. And if they ain't got no paperwork, they gotta go up top. Now if somebody on the yard that got your paperwork that says you hot,
Right. And hot meaning tell.
that you telling, then your paperwork don't mean nothing because we already got it in black and white. You know what I'm saying?
And if they decide not to go up top, which is
That's the best thing for them to do.
right.
I done seen some horror stories
Get
behind.
banged out with the bangers,
Whew.
raped and all that.
I wouldn't say rape, you know, especially. I'm gonna say we don't do that. California don't do that.
Texas don't.
We ain't on that bullshit. You know, and a lot of people know who is on that bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
for sure.
But really, what you either get punished by stumped out or you get that knife put in you. And it's the serious homies that got that life. They ain't trying to stump you out. They trying to put that knife in you.
Get
Point
rid of it.
blank. Period. Because that's all they live for. They get excited by that shit.
So you got a lot of, you seen quite a few murders in the joint.
Well, I've seen a couple, but I've seen a lot of people get stabbed, and I've seen a lot of people get sliced with that razor blade.
Right.
And I've seen my own loved one get murdered in prison.
Right. And then that goes back to you say your homie, your fall partner and your homie, Baby Fish, he was in that fight, God bless. He didn't make it out. What happened in that situation? Was you caught up with him in a situation where you on the yard with him?
I was on the yard with him, and the story is long, so I'm gonna just make it brief. But
Take it as long as you want, pinpoint. Point us in the direction.
all right, so Baby Fish is that's my dog. That's my loved one, my little brother. So I remember like it was yesterday. When I got to Victorville, he was already in the cell with one of my homeboys. So I told him, y'all keep that arrangement, because me and Baby Fish couldn't sell together. We sell together before, and you know that's my loved one, but we can't sell together.
Right.
He leaves shit everywhere. I'm a neat freak.
Where y'all sell together?
We were selling in MBCLA.
Okay.
So, so we left them living arrangements. I moved in the cell with one of the other homies. So that morning I got up, and I'm up early because I like to check the temperature of the yard. I like to know what's going on, what happened the night before, just in case the homies got into it somewhere else. I like to feel that and see what's going on. So I get up in the morning, I looked in his cell, I was like, you going to breakfast? He was like, nah, I'll get at you in a minute. I'll get at you in a couple hours, and lay it down for a minute. I'm like, all right. So I picked up one of my other comrades on my way to Chow, and we go to Chow. We come back, we stop in another unit, because when you on them yards, you go from unit to unit, fucking with the homeboys, doing what you do. So we in the unit next door to my unit. I'm fucking with one of the homies, and next thing you know, the deuces go off. We hear gunshots. A dude from Seattle, Washington came in like, man, y'all homies getting down out there. So we react. We pushing up out that building. Police trying to keep us in the building. Watch out! And we get active. So in the mix of us getting active, they shoot. Police coming from everywhere. When the smoke cleared, I try to fade back by the building so I can act like I ain't involved, because you want to get away with everything you do.
Right.
So I slid behind the building, and I asked one of the homies, I was like, who is that stretched against the gate? And when he told me it was Baby Fish, my world just came to a stop. Like, nah. So,
Did you get on one?
so the police, what happened is the police taking people down, and I'm telling the officer, I was like, man, tell him I just came out your building, I ain't got shit to do with that. So when he told them, yeah, I just came out the building, they let me go. So when they let me and my comrade go, we walking through the yard, but all I see is my guy stretched against the gate. And what we were doing, we would get ready to go to his unit and get on somebody's head instantly. But I kept looking back, and so I was like, fuck it, I gotta go see if the homie's still breathing. So when I'm making my way back to the homie, because I was getting ready to come, he's stretched up against the gate, and I'm on the other side of the gate. So I'm finna come up on this side where the police said, just see if my man's still breathing. And I just so happened to see one of the dudes from the opposite side that we was getting down with. And I get off on him, boom. He get back off on me. He hit hard as a motherfucker, so I ain't never been hit that hard. I ain't gonna even lie. And if it wasn't going down like that, he probably would have been the last person that I got at.
Right.
But business is business.
Right.
So they take us down, take us to the hole. So when I'm in the hole, the SIS came to the cage, because they still had me outside in the cage because there was so many people. You know how it is. They got a clear space in the hole. They got a lot of people in the cages waiting to get a cell. So he was like, man, he was like, Fish, because he was a cool SIS. You know how they be acting, like, you know. He said, I'm sorry to say, man, Baby Fish off the count. I said, what the fuck you mean he off the count? He's like, he off the count. He didn't make it. And man, that probably was the last thing I would have ever wanted to hear. My little homeboy.
From your same hood.
From the same hood. Grew up with.
Right.
And I was in the zone for a long time, man. I was fucked up behind that. You know, I was fucked up behind that. And so they kept us in the hole for a few months and sent us back on the yard. A few of us, they shipped and shit, and I got out tripping. I wanted to fade. I wanted to fade all the homies that didn't participate. I wanted to fade all the homies that were still in the bed that morning that didn't get active. I was tripping. I had a couple fades with the homies, and I stayed around for a minute. And I ended up getting into it with the police down the line and shit, and they ended up shipping me, man. But
Where they ship you to then?
I went from there to motherfucking Allenwood. I went from there to Allenwood for a minute, and shit was different after that, man. Like, shit was different. And that took a lot out of me. So, you know, I fucked up for a few more years and shit, and getting into it and shit. They kept me away from them dudes for a long time. And so one day I'm in a hole, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. And I had already started changing when I was in USP Marion. And I'm like, I'm tired of this shit, man. I'm not trying to be a part of this shit no more. So I didn't stop banging.
When you say part of this shit,
as far as cripping, I didn't stop banging, but I stopped getting into the bullshit. I became a voice of reasoning. Like when homies used to, you know, be on some bullshit, I asked them, you sure? You sure that's what you want to do?
Versus back then.
Back then, I was just with it.
You know whatever, yeah, right, wrong, indifferent.
Yeah, so
you going for the ride.
Yeah, so they end up sending me to FCI, Minnesota. And when they sent me to FCI, Minnesota,
not a USP.
No, FCI. Now my points dropping. Right. The more I stayed out of trouble, my points started dropping. And when I got to Minnesota, it's just like it wasn't too many homies there. It was homies there, but from out of state. So it wasn't that pressure of having the homies from Cali there. So they come and holler at me, what's up, big homie Wolf? And we talk, and I started talking positivity. You know what I'm saying? My heart started changing. My mindset started changing. Everything started changing to where it's like I wasn't on that foolishness no more.
When we say change or reverting back?
I started changing to...
Because reverting back, you was Robin Hood.
No, when
you was hitting the licks, you was giving back.
Yeah, so...
And then he fed them with manna. Now what the manna is, your manna is not just the food you eat. But we talking about the manna is your knowledge. The manna is what you doing inside of the wilderness to come back out, to re-enter back into society, to make a difference without giving any excuses to justify your reason why you going back to doing what you're gonna do to become a part of the recipient.
All that.
Did your family and friends ride with you for up until that point? Because how long were you in there before the whole change came? A decade? You about 10 years in, decade in, or a little more?
About 14, about almost 13, 14 years.
And that's when the change came.
Yeah, and mom's always been there. By the grace of God, she survived and she's still alive. You know,
because a lot of people don't know, when you do time, your family member, your loved one do time with you.
Oh, absolutely, and it tore my mama down, man. And it still breaks my heart today, the damage it did to her. Y'all look at me, I'm still young, I'm still active, I'm still healthy, but the damage that it did to her, you know what I'm saying, it aged her, she had nervous breakdowns and all kinds of, because I'm her only child, I'm her baby.
You never knew your father?
No, I knew my father.
Was he there?
Nah, I got a military check every month, but that's it.
So do you know him now?
Yeah, he ironically, he died about a year, 14 months before I got out of prison.
So you never really got to spend a lot of time with him?
Nah. I mean, every now and then, he wanted to take me to Japan with him when he was stationed out there, but I was a mama's boy. I'm not leaving my mama.
Well, you end up leaving anyway.
Yeah.
About 3 times. 3 good long times.
Yeah.
Time get long. So you back to Eric. Mm-hmm. You're reading your book. What type of books you reading now to condition your mind?
All the self-help. Eckhart Tolle, Stephen Covey. Of course, you know, everybody read the 48 Laws of Power and all that stuff.
Outliers and all that.
Yeah, and you know, As a Man Thinketh.
Get Rich.
Rich Dad,
Poor Dad.
You know, like all the books that pretty much everybody read, but I also just like to get into spiritual books, mindfulness, meditation. I think that's what kept me throughout my journey, just being able to just meditate and just get into myself and into my own, you know what I'm saying?
So that time you changed, manifestation into Eric. Mm-hmm. You're going back to Eric McKenith, who walked in, who was birthed.
Yes.
And you left him, I'm going to say you left Eric at 15.
Yes.
You was grooming yourself to leave him, but you left him all the way when you got jumped in by Big Fish.
I got jumped in by the homeboy Lil Muggsy, but Big Fish set it up though.
Okay.
Big Fish was the older homie.
Well, that was the initiator.
Yeah, he the one that, like brought me to the set.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you back in there, you 13, 14, 15 years later.
Yeah.
Now you want a smooth sailing, but you're still at USP, you're still rocking.
Yeah, and it's hard in the USP. But once I got to FCI, it was easier for me to.
But at the USP, you still got to carry your bangers and stuff.
Yeah, you still got to do all that.
And when you move down to the FCI, that's considered a medium.
Medium.
So you go down to the medium. You don't have banger paperwork. Do they still do that?
They still do paperwork and shit.
So how do you feel about coming home, new to social media, all this new world, and you see a lot of prison guys doing a lot of prison stories, and a lot of them talk about paperwork. A lot of them be lying. I don't know. But how do you feel about that? Come in on that, and we're going to go back to you. Come in on how you see these guys talking about paperwork in these social media settings, and these other guys knowing they lying on other people about paperwork, and they don't got none. Just your feeling, and what you truly was living.
Well, to be honest with you, like I really don't get into that social media in regards to that, but I hear it on rap songs every now and then. I really can't comment on it because I really don't. You know what I'm saying? I know that paperwork was real back in the 90s and early 2000s. And what I also know is that they had so many people getting punished that they stopped letting people bring their paperwork out of R&D. So, but it was still
receiving the discharge.
Yeah, but it was still ways for you to get some type of paperwork to say you wasn't hot. Right. You know what I'm saying? Whether you got to go to your case manager or not, but they made it hard.
With your sentencing transcript,
transcripts, all of that stuff. You know, they made it hard because they was tired of people getting punished. You know, but one thing about being especially in USPs, you got people that's with that, they be on the computer all day, every day. And you stumble across some shit all the time. And you print that shit out like, here it go right here. You know what I'm saying? It ain't hard. It ain't hard to get.
So a nigga coming in and lie all they want, man.
Yeah, because you can probably lie, but eventually it's going to catch up with you. Eventually it's going to catch up with you.
And when it catch up with you, I know that you always do that.
Nah, because I've seen it. And I'm seeing just many people getting punished. Many of them. Many of them thinking they slick as oil, thinking that they can maneuver and finesse their way through. That shit catch up with you.
And before you know it, boom.
That shit catch up with you.
So you're going through that, you changing, you coming, you still got, well, you got a lot of damn time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what, 86 years?
84 years.
84 years,
Yeah.
so shit, that's a lot of fucking time, especially in the Fed, you got to do 85%.
Mm-hmm.
And then you done caught shots and all this other shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you got all this time.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, 13 years in, you still got so much time, 14 years in, you're like, you know what, the hell with this fucking. I need to lay my ass down. I'm older now. I done put in a lot of work. Let me do something to try to work on myself get out. Because we're supposed to come get you out right now. We're supposed to travel out. Because we in there. So we understand what happens in there. So now you start doing what you're doing. Now, new laws coming into effect. You filing all your appeals. Once you filing all of your appeals, then now here you go. We got a different president.
Yes.
Different president that you not unbeknown to you is the president that's supposed to change the law, enact the law to help you come home. We're gonna come back with that with Pinpoint Podcast. We're gonna take us the last minute of 5. We're gonna come back with Mr. Eric, and then we're gonna come on out. Aside his 26 years, you know, you go all day with something like this. But Pinpoint Podcast, hey, y'all want to see us? Any of our other podcasts, go to our YouTube station, Pinpoint Foundation, and we'll see y'all in a few ticks. And we always got to shout out. Wait, what?
Preparing yourself to do better, to be better, not worrying about who want to accept you, but worrying about you accepting yourself and presenting to new you. Because the thing is called re-entry. You're re-entering back into society, giving that second, third chance, however many it may be. But you write that vision down, you take that time and you're using it wisely while you're in this wilderness. And remember, the wilderness is the incarceration. The time that the 40 years and the remnant of the wax and the manner what you feed yourself in your ears. The knowledge, the people you will communicate yourself with. Remember, write that vision down. Remember, don't feed yourself with bad manner. Remember, make sure that you place yourself in a position where you can do better when you go out there, not giving yourself any excuses to justify any reason.
Welcome back to Pinpoint Podcast. Y'all know we sitting up here with Mr. Eric, and we are coming down to the line with Pinpoint Podcast. Y'all know, again, I always say everything's all thing with real estate at here at Pinpoint. And we'd like to thank Eric for coming out. But here we're going to touch on some basics, and we're going to travel it. Y'all know we travel at the Pinpoint Podcast. So we do our recap, y'all know. We got to understand me, a recap. So we went back to Lawn Park. From Lawn Park, you said you did damn near a year, not a whole year. Mm-hmm. Then from there you went to Marion, you did what? 6 years? 6 years.
10 months.
10 months. Right at 7 years at Lawn Park, that's the most you ever did.
7 years at USP Marion.
Yeah, Marion. At Lawn Park you did a year, almost a year.
About a year.
10 months or a year.
Then at USP Maryland, the longest place you ever stayed throughout your whole system, even starting back from the CYA. That was 2 years, Chino and the other two I keep forgetting. Then you go to Long Park. Then you get shipped over there at Marion. Then you go over to the other spot with your
USP Victorville.
USP Victorville, and then you meet back up with
yeah.
your childhood friend,
At Victorville.
your homie at Victorville, and then he get unfortunate situations, things happen to him, then your mind, you get to tripping for 2 more years. 2 more years you tripping. After you tripping, okay, your mind hit 13, 14 years in. Okay, now you traveling, you conditioning your mind, because it started over there at Marion being in a one-man cell. Getting your mind together. However, you still active. Now you come back. You get ready to get moved again. You're like, okay, well shit, I'm here. You're going through your appeals. You're doing all that, trying to fight your Brady Act because that's what they violate, whether you're guilty or not. You violate the Brady Act, people out there. It don't matter whether you're guilty. It's supposed to come back up for appeal, and you can reconvict me if you get the right jury. But you know, we black folks, you know, we don't never get that shit. However, here we is. You 20. You got these 90.
84 years.
You got 84.
968 months.
968 months, 84 years. And it's 84 year sentence. Now, you 14 years in. 15 years in, let's just say, let's give it 15 years. Decade and a half. You can't trip no more because you got to settle in here. Now, you still got a lot of time according to paper. Help us get to where you say, you kept hope alive like Reverend Jesse Jackson. I like to say that about people. Keeping hope alive and shit. And a lot of people keep hope alive when there ain't no damn hope. But anyway, with yours it was hope. So you kept hope alive. You kept doing whatever you had to do. You seen everything changing in prison. You heard everything changing outside. Your mama here, she ain't getting tired, but you can see it's draining. Okay, now you follow these appeals. We got a new president where we left off at. Pick up at the new presidency where you start paying attention, because you was in there when Obama came in the White House, the White House, you went in for his full term. After him, we got Trump.
Yeah.
So when Trump come in, you right at 20 years, 21, 22 years. And let's pick up.
Yep. So, I really thought that Obama was going to save me. I thought he was going to do something. Unfortunately, it didn't happen then. But
Kwame did too.
Trump came in.
Detroit, the mayor of Detroit.
Yeah. So Trump get in, and I got to give credit to Vance Jones and all of those dudes who was behind the First Step Act. Donald Trump just signed his name. But he didn't have to sign it, but it was groups that was behind the First Step Act that's been fighting for years.
If you don't mind, what's the First Step Act? Explain that.
It's kind of hard to explain it, but I would say First Step Act was their first step to, I guess, rectifying some of the laws that they had on books, changing them. And it was quite a few laws on books that they was working to change. In my particular case, which was the 924C statute, which was using the firearm in the commission of crime. It was an enhanced penalty.
What is it called?
Using the firearm in the commission of crime.
924C.
924C. So
459 is the bank robbery in Cali.
No, bank robbery is
459. I think.
No. 2111. I mean 20. What is it? 2113. I think is the bank robbery statute.
Right.
But 459 was breaking and entering.
B&E.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
B&E.
was back way before I filed my Fed case. But the 924C was an enhanced penalty. Now, going back to when Congress brought 924C into play, it was meant like this. If I caught a bank robbery charge with a 924C, they was to give me 5 years for the 924C. I do
Automatic.
my automatic on top of the bank robbery, whatever I got. I do the time, get out, and I commit the same offense again, then you can enhance me 20 years for the 924C. But being that I had a string of robberies, what they did was they stacked the 924Cs on me. I had 4 924Cs on top of the bank robberies. So for the 924Cs...
So as if you had the 4 924Cs, as if you had the 4 sentences.
Yeah, because it was.
But it wasn't 4 sentences. It was just a 1.
It was a string of robberies. So
it was a string of robbery, but you got caught one time.
I got caught one time.
They tried to make it seem like you got caught 4 different times.
Yeah, I got out. Yeah. That was what the statute.
That's very important.
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt you, but that's very important.
No, for sure.
Because people don't have an understanding of when you stack something. Okay, well, stack is you put the time on top of the time. However, if I never did no time, because I believe Rick Ross got out like that, because I read his story, his book, and basically that's what he said. I watched him in the podcast as well. That's basically what he said they did to him. They stacked him with across state line as if he was sentencing, but everything was all at once, and he only got caught one time. But go ahead. That's about right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know every detail of his case. Even though I was with him in Line Pop, good friend, good dude.
Oh, y'all did time together?
Yeah, shout out to Rick Ross. I love what he's doing out there right now. And but yeah, so in my case, it was like they gave me 5 years for the first one, and then 20, because I had 4 of them. So I got 65 years just on 924Cs to be ran.
Concurrent or
No,
consecutive?
consecutive. And
One after another.
Yeah, and then they sentenced me for the bank robberies and conspiracy to commit bank robberies.
So you didn't get a lot of time for that?
No, I got 14 years, I believe, for the bank
I mean, that's a
robberies.
lot of time, but 14 years versus
Yeah, 5 years. I got more time for enhanced penalties, the 924C, than the actual robberies and the conspiracy. You know?
Right.
So by them stacking on me, they wasn't supposed to do that, but they've been getting away with that for years. Because there's a lot of brothers in the feds that fell up under the same 924C statute. So what the First Step Act did in regards to the 924Cs, they said, nah, you can't do that no more. You only can get a person, I think, a maximum of 25 years for one, and that's it. So I'm sitting, unbeknownst to me, I'm not really studying what's coming down the pipeline, but I'm hearing about it. And one day I got contacted by some college students, law students, and they was like, this might help you, you know, and so I started reading. I'm like, wow. So I ended up getting an attorney, and my attorney, you know, he looked into it like, yeah, this can help you. But the thing is they didn't make it retroactive. A lot of laws they change, they don't make it retroactive. They trying to keep you sitting on ice. So
they just try to act like they're doing something for you.
Yeah.
To get the vote.
Yeah, but they don't make it retroactive. But if you fight, you can get that off of you. But then they want to know, what have you been doing the last 5 to 10 years? If you still getting in trouble and stuff, then they ain't gonna let it go through.
You still a danger to society.
Absolutely. So in my case, this is what I really actually believe in my case. Once I started changing my mindset and my heart towards things, and I like to tell people, I started changing my karma by doing right by people. You know what I'm saying? And once I started changing my karma, I get the letter in 2018. This might help you. Wow. So now, by me changing myself, my life.
You 10 years in being straight, or living more.
Almost 10.
Almost 10 doing.
Yeah, about 8 years. No write-up, no conflict. So when they pushed the paperwork to the warden of my institution first, what he been doing? Oh shit. He got like 20 certificates, all these courses he's taking, anger management, victim impact, and all the things that I was just taking. Like, I'm just piling this stuff up, not knowing it's gonna help me, but it did. So now I'm showing.
You condition your mind, but at the same time, I like to believe in God. You get conditioned.
Absolutely.
To come home, because a lot of people don't understand what preparation is.
Yeah.
You preparing yourself because you're in the jungle, you're in the wilderness, and in the wilderness you gotta feed for yourself. Yeah. But at the same time, while you're feeding, you gotta be disciplined, making wise decisions.
Absolutely.
So you preparing yourself in preparation.
Absolutely.
Come home.
Absolutely.
So as you preparing yourself, you get this This letter.
Yeah.
2018.
And I'm getting all these certificates and stuff and whatnot. And so the warden signed off on it, okay. So next step is send it up to my sentencing judge. My sentencing judge died. So everything fell up into another judge. And I remember the words this judge said when she gave me my reduction. She said, I've showed a consistent effort at rehabilitation. Therefore, because I told my attorney was saying, I'm going to shoot for time served. I was like, nah. I said, just ask them to give me the 30 that they offered me when I first failed. Because they offered me 30 years. But at 21, 22, you like, I ain't finna take no 30. So my attorney, he said, all right. He asked the judge, we just actually reduced the sentence to 30. New First Step Act, you really can't sentence him to all this 65 years on 924C. This is what he's been doing since he's been in prison. Da-da-da-da. The judge said, I see consistent effort of rehabilitation. Okay. And when my attorney told me that, I couldn't believe it. Like really, I couldn't believe I was going home.
How you feel when they?
It was surreal. I was like, I told Sharisa, I said.
And who is Sharisa?
My girl, my lady.
That's who picked you up?
That's who picked me up. Until I walked out and seen her, I still didn't believe it. I just knew that they was gonna come with some shenanigans. I just knew that they was gonna be there saying, you know what?
How long you been knowing Sharisa?
Me and Sharisa been knowing each other since 97.
1900.
1997. Yeah.
When y'all met it when y'all wrapped up.
Yeah, and crazy thing about this, I was coming back from court, and they was booking her in MDCLA, and I seen her, and I was like, wow. So I went back up to my unit, and I hollered an event to one of the homegirls. I said, the new girl that's coming up there, tell her to come and holler at me tomorrow morning.
Oh, y'all had co-ed?
Yeah, the females was on the 9th floor. I was on, I think, 7th South at the time, and so she came to the event reluctantly. She didn't know what was going on. And I started hollering at her. I'm like, I'm the one you seen, whoa. And so I became her friend while she was going through what she was going through. Because I had already been down a couple years. And so just that
so
alone.
You bagged your lady while you was in the joint?
I guess you could say
you
that.
really fish.
I guess you could say that, right?
You the real fish.
Yeah. So,
and you caught some shit.
Man.
You might have been a fisherman.
Greatest lesson of my life, man.
As a fisherman.
But yeah, so I met her. She got out on bail, and she ended up coming to visit me when I went to state to the USP to Lompoc.
Right.
She was coming to see me in Lompoc until she had to go and do her bit. And naturally, I got 84 years, so she had a life to live. So we parted. We parted for a long time. But like a year.
So y'all never touched?
Only a visit. She came to see me in Lompoc, you know, and yeah, she was there for me, and then she, like I said, she went on to live her life, and I was still doing time. But about a year before I got out, I was just messing around with my sister. I'm like, look this person up for me. She looked her up, and she thought I was dead because a lot of people thought when Baby Fish got killed, they thought it was me because I was the wild one. So everybody was like, that was me. So her ex-husband told her like, yeah, you know, Fish dead. So I don't know. I think it was about since 2007. She thought I was dead until my sister slid in her DMs.
From 2020. From 2007 to what? 2020, 2019, 2018, whatever that was.
No, 2020.
Yeah.
And she thought my sister was playing a game because she thought I was dead. And when I got her number, she talked to me. She was like, "Oh my God." We were like, "Damn."
And it's been ever since.
Yeah.
So you get ready to come home. Preparing yourself mentally, physically, you're already there. To get ready to come out. To touch a woman. You ain't touch a woman in 26 motherfucking years. Well, we ain't gonna talk about. Oh, yeah. So you were fortunate.
Yeah, I was fortunate.
You were fortunate to touch a woman inside.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, you
There's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, dig that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I dig that like a crave, like a runaway slave. So, outside of that, you fortunate enough to touch a woman on the free world.
Yeah.
You still had all that motherfucking time.
Yeah.
Right? 84 years, 186 months.
Yeah.
So when you come home, you condition. You want to leave everything behind because a lot, like the first time you went in, and the second time you went in, from the 2 state charges, from the youth, or to Chino and to the other, you said, I'm robbing banks. Second time you come home, you condition, you read, you speaking right, your pants, you ain't sagging, you ain't gang banging, you're a man.
I'm a man, absolutely.
You come home to touch a woman in the free world. What was your mental then?
Man, I was in heaven.
Yeah.
I was in heaven. Like,
They got a song for that shit too.
Yeah. It's just like, man,
I found him.
I rarely have a bad day.
On earth.
I rarely have a bad day. It's like, just to be on this side is the greatest blessing ever. So, just being able to touch her, smell her, and just be in her presence. It was a beautiful thing, man.
But you wouldn't want to smell no funky woman. I don't care how much you want to be out. I said you wouldn't want to smell no mustache woman, no matter how much time you spend. Right? Shit.
I'm gonna keep it PG.
What's PG?
I'm gonna keep it PG.
What's PG?
When you in prison, like, I guess probably you still gonna have morals and standards. You know what I'm saying? But, just to be in the presence of a woman.
Whatever you smell like, you're going to encounter.
It's a blessing until you start smelling something else.
Even if she stunk. Like a fish. Oh
no, I can't take no fish smell. Nah. A little must don't hurt nobody else.
So you come on, God bless. Who's the president in the White House? It's important to say who's the president.
Oh, when I came home.
Not saying you with him or against him, but who's the president?
That signed the First Step Act?
Yeah, because we always.
Yeah, Donald Trump signed the First Step Act.
So you say.
But I came home on
So you're Trump? But we ain't gonna get into politics.
Yeah, no comment on that. I don't like
my other partner I went to college with, he say politics and politics. We ain't gonna talk about politics.
Yeah. But let's just say that I'm in favor for whoever in favor for our community, though.
Can I say this? Ain't nobody in favor of our community. They all do what they do for a vote.
And they all got their own agendas. I agree.
Yeah, fuck them. So we don't go to something else. I don't want to get them no glory. Even though I'm a part of something, because you gotta pick one. You gotta pick one. You can stay neutral.
Yeah.
But I just feel me personally. Me personally. If anybody did anything in the streets, if you call yourself an ex-gangster, street nigga, whatever the fuck label you want to give, it was something against what they call quote-unquote law, because they always break laws that they make. I don't know how you go against Trump. Because he ain't doing nothing but what any person in the streets would do.
Oh, he's a gangster.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's one thing I can say. He's a gangster. And he did what he wanted to do in that White House.
And what person from the streets don't like or respect gangsters?
Yeah, but
You ain't gotta like them, you gotta vote for them,
but
you
you
gotta
gotta
care for
respect.
them.
But
But you gotta respect them,
I get it.
right?
No, for real.
Because like you say in the joint, you ain't gotta deal with it.
Yeah.
Because you know what he about, he rocking with you. So now we come home. It's a new day, it's a new world. You enjoyed your life at the beginning, say, but Manhattan, you never been to New York.
Miami.
Miami, never, but you come home, you go to, because you got a couple of days to get back.
Got a couple of days to get back.
Did you parole out of Georgia or California?
I had everything set up where I came straight here.
Straight here.
Yep.
So you kicked it, you enjoy life. So now you sit down, you take that deep breath, 72 hours kick in. What was your thought process? What the fuck I'm gonna do? 26 motherfucking years. And you supposed to do 84 motherfucking months, 986.
Yeah. My release date was 2066. Every time I went to
We all probably would have been there.
every time I went to team, that 2066 was right there.
So,
Right there.
let's scale back. Got the letter. You know what you're gonna do.
when you got to let, how fast they say you got to get the fuck on, get out, kick out?
Now, it
Or
was-
they prepare you to get out? Because that's very important too, because I always feel anybody did more than 5 years, you need a preparation, like a detox, a suppression to push you out. Because if you just push you out, you can burst, because you don't know what you're facing. Because every half a decade, things drastically change. Not change, but drastically changes in life.
Yes.
So you been pushed out about 26 motherfucking years. What was that drastic change? And how did you know mentally on the inside of something that became your world, because that's all you do? Actually, not 26 years, but actually 29 and a half years. Because you was gone. And at 29 and a half years, you started going to the joint at 15. So you inside that world more than you on the outside of this world.
Yes.
Because you know more the inside versus the outside. So how you prepare yourself for something you ain't even know? Because people, I mean, I started fucking at 10. A lot of other people start fucking, I don't know what the age, but I don't know out there. You know what I mean? But I mean, I started fucking at 10. Say, fuck it, I was going through the hood. That's the kind of shit we do.
Yeah.
You gone in at 2021. You fucking, you having sex, that's what we talking about. We pick on podcast. Now you come home from 26 years, you was fortunate enough to have swag on the inside. But you coming home now, you can freely lay up, cuddle up, and hug up with a woman. Like one of my other projects tell me, I like to cuddle. That's all it is. I like to cuddle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So, you cuddling up, you kicking it, you eating it. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Because I hear what you're saying we gonna do, baby. But what am I really supposed to do? I don't know nothing else. 29 motherfucking years. This is all I know.
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna tell you what she said in regards to that. She said, "Damn, baby, it's like you ain't never left." She said, "You had to be fucking some police COs in there. It's like riding a bike.
Right.
That aspect of it.
Because you still riding bike while you was in.
And then another
You
thing.
was riding bike while you was in, so.
Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah.
But another thing though too, like you gotta get out there mentally sometime. When you laying there in your bunk, you know what I'm saying, at night, you out there in your thoughts and your fantasy worlds and whatnot. That so I kept, you know, fresh in my mind how to treat a woman, how to carry a woman, how to make love to a woman. So I never lost that mentally. So like they say, when
you was dressing up in suits, so you was a Casanova at a young age.
I was pretty smooth.
I got a picture of me out, I got hanging in my house. I was 17 years old in a suit. Now, my ex-man used to be triggered. So, you know, at a young age, but you know, the why we men was like that though. This is the funny part. If you can remember, we screw women, got hard-ons. We listened to Isley Brothers in Houston. We listened to Isley Brothers, Maze.
Yeah.
We listened to Freddie Jackson. We listened to that type of music, put ourselves in the mindset when we were a woman. So you grew up in that era.
Absolutely.
So your era, you wouldn't even know about this era of the rap culture that came along with disrespectful to it.
Nah.
So when you come home, you still that Casanova, dress up in the suit, rob a bank. However, not with the mindset.
Yeah.
So you was a chivalry nigga coming up out of prison.
I've always been chivalrous.
Yeah,
I've always been chivalrous, and that's because I guess my mom's taught me well too how to respect women. Like, you know, we all have our flaws. We all have that, you know, where we don't treat women as well as we should because we fuck with different women. Back, you know what I'm talking. I'm referring back to the day. So we got a little chauvinist in us, or whatever you call it, but at the end of the day, I always knew how to treat a woman. I knew how to respect.
I mean, you kind of knew how to treat a woman if you got a woman on the inside of the joint. You had to be some type of chivalry.
I can't believe I believed everything we had was less. Too young and naive of me to think she was from your past. Silly of me to dream of one day having your kids. Love is so blind.
support system, and not only Sharisa, I have my sister was a great.
So what was your
support
support system in the joint? Was it a woman base?
Well, I got
Outside.
No,
Not
got
inside.
No. I got two friends who I knew before I was gang banging. Squares, working men. They was in my life. Whenever I called for them,
They rode the ride.
they had me. And them the two dudes that every time I go to California, I touch bases with them regardless. And
Shout out to them.
well, Odell and
Mookie.
Odell and Mookie, they know who they are.
Right.
And them my two real brothers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
From other mothers.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, when you're doing time, I rotated female friends. I was never lonely. I rotated female friends. Well, let me get that.
Your name.
Let me go back. I was lonely,
But your name is Fish.
but I filled that void by just rotating female
Fill
friends.
the void by being what you label fish. What did a fish do? They float across the ocean.
Yeah.
Bump into new motherfuckers as they go. Make sure they ain't get caught ensnared in the trap or on the hook.
Absolutely.
You
And thank
became-
God I didn't.
You became the hook.
Yeah.
You hooked them.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we outside. God bless. You with the woman. You now coming here saying you put to get into real estate. What part of the real estate venture have you done, if you've done any, or you done build yourself up, you and your woman Sharisa, build yourself up to be?
Okay. Well, we just bought a property. So when I came home,
And how long you been home?
I've been home about 18, 19 months. And so when I came home, Sharisa already had a lot for me to build on, which I'm about to start building on as soon as I get these permits. Then she had a house and a house on this four corners. She had three of the corners. We just recently purchased the fourth corner about 8 months ago.
So she played Monopoly.
Absolutely. And what we're doing with this property and what I've been involved with is I've been getting this property ready so that we can house ex-offenders. So we're going to be putting ex-offenders in there while they transition back into society in this property right here. So we've been doing a little rehabbing with it and just preparing it to get it ready to go.
And you've been doing some mentoring. Tell me some of the groups or couple or whoever you done spoke to.
Well, now I'm also walking in my purpose. For the last 4 months, I've been walking in my purpose.
Cause we want you to do some things with Pinpoint Foundation too. You do have
absolutely.
Cause you know we're on the podcast saying that shit, right?
Well, look, this is what I'm gonna say. God blessed me with my freedom for a reason. He kept me young. He kept me healthy for a reason.
He preserved you.
He preserved me because I believe I can relate to these young men that's in the streets right now. And there's no better person to relate to them than somebody who's been through what they're going through right now.
You
And
believe
so-
or you know?
No, I know.
Right.
Because of the few places that I spoke in, the young men came to me afterwards asking me more questions. You know what I'm saying? So my purpose is to reach out to them, not tell them what to do, but to share my story with them and hope that my story helped them to start changing their mindsets and their thought process.
You know, like today, as you can see how Pinpoint Podcast set up for all their guests. All guests are special. I cooked a meal, prepared a meal. You want to share with your meal? What was your meal of choice?
My meal was some barbecue chicken,
Even in
beans,
the rain.
rice, even in the rain. Thank you.
Dance on
Thank
the
you.
water, I ain't get wet.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, and the meal was delicious. The fish was delicious as well, and the whole hospitality here, being here at Pinpoint, has been just amazing.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But the thing is about the meals.
No, the
See,
meal.
one of the things about meals, what we do, it brings people together.
Okay.
Even like I go back to whether you go to biblical, whether you go to your Quran, whether you go to the Torah, whatever Catholicism, whatever religion base you form, even if you're atheist, don't believe in nothing. You believe in eating with your family, because everybody about their family.
Yes.
And one thing I learned about, when you eat with friends and family, you get to know one another. Y'all gonna have a disagreement, because if there's not a disagreement, there's something not real now. I tell my partner that all the time. If we can't have a disagreement, if we agree all the time, one of us phony, if not both of us. So when you have that meal together and you share it together, then you know that, okay, I can share something with this person because we talk and I'm comfortable with it. And he or she's comfortable with me. So you're home. You're not accustomed to that because when you went in, you was young. So would you share with your affiliates, Crips, as if you still active or inactive, however you still affiliated? You say, how important you think a meal to be shared with your friends and family?
It's very important. You know, like breaking bread with your brethren is very important.
Because you broke bread with who in the joint? Let's go
With
back.
my comrades.
We're going to travel, right?
Yeah.
When you went to CYA, who you ate with?
With my comrades.
When you went to see your first prison joint, who you ate with?
My comrades.
I don't know why the fuck I can't remember the other two. Who you ate with?
Yeah, Chuckawalla and Ironwood.
You're
They're
26
my comrades.
motherfuckers. You're 26 years in the federal penitentiary. Who you ate with?
For the most part, my comrades.
But you see how important that meal is?
Oh, absolutely, because it brings about unity and it brings around camaraderie.
If you do your thing called spreads in the joint, you ate with who?
Yeah, my comrades.
And y'all got to kick it, y'all talk. You hear somebody, something, express something to somebody, then you find a way to help. Or vice versa, help you, right?
Absolutely.
It's important to have that meal. And that's what I always stress. So what would you stress today to other Crips that you hear about that's out here that you can see could be saved, but on the path to end the way you at? What would you share with them?
I would share with them that we gotta start respecting ourselves first, respecting each other,
How you gonna do that when they on
Respecting
when they on some
humanity.
business?
because we destroying ourselves. And
Well, we've been destroying ourselves since they goddamn released us from slavery.
I know, but when is it gonna stop? When is it gonna stop?
Is it designed to stop?
Perhaps not, but all things is designed, you know what I'm saying,
It's
is
designed
to be changed.
to build and to destroy.
Yeah, so we gotta start building and stop destroying.
So you'll
And-
tell
and-
your other brethren, hey, start building. Well, how to build?
No.
And when they don't know
But
nothing.
that's why you gotta provide resources. And I'm hoping to start with bringing the center into hopefully East Pointe or one of the communities here where I can provide them with resources and I can provide them with a space where it's a neutral environment where they can come and they can relax and they can
So
just
this
deal
really
with
get
each other.
hard. Because this is the hard part of life and reality outside of prison. You want to do all that, and everybody else do too. But some people might have a different monetary reason or a different reason. How you gonna provide it? What resource? Give me 3 resources out the rip that you're gonna provide, or you're gonna put yourself in a position to provide.
Well, first I gotta provide them with information first and foremost.
Which is always number one.
You know what I'm saying? And whatever I can do to lead them to you know, just whatever they want to be, whatever their dreams are, whatever I can do to lead them and help them to believe in that dream and believe in the possibility of that dream coming to fruition, that's what I want to do. And I know that you got to give these guys resources, especially when it comes to when they out there in the streets trying to feed and provide for their families.
So somebody come to you. You're not affiliated, but you still Crip by heart, Crip by blood. Yeah or nay?
I can agree with that, yes.
Yes,
I mean,
right? So then you know somebody that you got the paperwork, there's a real one in the joint, did some time, then he got somebody outside that he wants you to go holler at. He in the streets.
Absolutely not. I'm not in the streets. I'm not
So
active.
you wouldn't holler at him?
No, I'm not active.
Right.
I'm not active. Why would I?
Right.
Why would I jeopardize myself?
That's what I want to hear. You got a complete change.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people say they changed, but when they put up under their test, you find out you really didn't change.
No. I'm real about my change.
So would you rob a bank again?
Absolutely not.
Time got hard.
Absolutely
Depression.
not. No.
You end up on the street.
Let me tell you the story real quick. So one of my jobs was that I was a security guard, ironically. So I was a security guard at Fifth Plaza, then I was a security guard at the Gucci store. A luxury security guard, suited and booted. They do a background check.
Ain't that out
Look,
come back around.
They do a
you
background.
suited booty around the bank.
Yeah,
Now you suited booty
yeah.
being a security.
Absolutely.
Said don't steal.
Absolutely.
And use the rob.
Look, so they do a background check, nothing comes up because my case is so old. So I was responsible not only for watching this Gucci merchandise, but I was walking the armored guard into the Gucci store to the safe once a week, and not once did I entertain the possibility of robbing.
You didn't entertain, but what about the thought across the mind?
Not once.
You never breathed.
Not once. But I did call Sharice and say, can you believe this? Can you believe this? But that's how God is, though.
That's
God
why I say the
puts you
24
in there-
service.
Yeah, he put you in a position to test you. Because back in the days, I'd have been calling the homies like, I got us one. I got us one. And it was easy, too.
So how was you dressed back in the day? Suited and booty.
Suited and booty when I was riding.
How did you dress at Gucci?
Suited and booty.
But see, that's the magnificence of Allah, God, Jehovah. Give all recognition, like I was just saying, with Sharice, prior to you coming back. No, you never know how life treats you. But one thing I know, God's ways are not our ways. His thought is not our thought. You know, a lot of people read that, but they don't have an understanding that. Acknowledge him in all his ways. Acknowledge him in all his ways. How the fuck you acknowledge something you don't see? Just by talking about it, that's acknowledgement. Now, you go back. He prepared you. You robbing in suits. I'm gonna get you to be a protector
In a suit.
in a suit.
Yeah.
And they're gonna bring you home free where you got the mindset where you ain't thinking about taking this person's money in a suit, but protecting them in a suit. Did that just ever just cross your mind, or just some shit that you just heard me say?
No, that suit right
That
there.
shit sounds
no.
fly,
So I gotta steal it because I didn't really realize the suit. I realized the position God put me in, but it's ironic that I robbed banks in suits and then bring it back, and I was protecting assets in the suit.
And what are we deemed to be in suits? Respectable men.
Respectable.
So you was always a respectable man, but you had to go through your trial and tribulation. I ain't gonna let you die, but I'm gonna preserve you. You gonna go through what you gonna go through because you did some fucked up shit.
Absolutely.
However, when I get through with you, not get through with, when I get you to the point to where I really want to use you, you gonna be in a suit. And what do we all die in? What they bury us in if our face ain't fucked up?
In a suit.
See, that suit is what? When you look up the definition of a suit, you got a distinguished character of a man. You got somebody that's placed in a suit that they say that this person is stable. Now in life, you come home, get with your lady. Would you say you're stable?
Yes, I'm stable.
And you're
Absolutely.
stable, you say you got your mind focused on what your career want to be,
Absolutely.
and you all did it all in a suit. Starting with a suit, ending
Starting
with a suit.
with a suit, and I plan to wear more suits in my daily life.
And see, that's how we're going to end Pinpoint Foundation, Pinpoint Podcast.
Yes, sir.
See, the thing about life is, speaking, first of all, we want to thank Mr. Eric, we're going all day. But we want to thank Mr. Eric for gracing us with his presence. First of all, we want to thank God that he was blessed to come home for 26 motherfucking years. Well, I'm going to say 29 and a half because you got the 2, you know, it's kind of like the make. You got the 2, right? You got the 2 plus an 18. That's 2 plus 18, right? 2 plus 18 plus 26, right? Motherfucker, can you do that and survive and come look like Mr. Eric McKenith? No, you can't. But at Pinpoint Podcast, we're going to find the ones that can do that, look like that, and be conditioned like that. You know, we want to give a shout out. We always got to have fun. But everything is about real estate. As you can see, he's going into real estate. His lady that he come home to is going to help him into real estate and do the things to do. We wish you much blessings and prosperity in it. But the number one thing, y'all look forward to seeing another interview with Mr. Eric because he'll be mentoring with Pinpoint Foundation, his own self as well as with Pinpoint Foundation. And we're going out there speaking to the young youth and to the gang members and all that because he has a story to tell. I have another brother named Jesse Hill Roger. He's out there in Houston that did the same 26 motherfucking years. And he has a story to tell. I have a story to tell. A lot of people have a story to tell. This is one of the interesting
interviews I had that opened up in 2023 back at Pinpoint Podcast every Wednesday until we say we finish. Right now we just get started. So I'd like to thank y'all. Would you like to say anything and give any shout outs to anybody out there? And I always like for people to know how to get in contact with you, just in case they want you to come speak, because you speak very well, in my opinion.
And they can hit me up on my IG, which is Eric_McKenith, McKenith. And I just want to thank you for having me here, and I look forward to doing the work.
I gotta ask you this question. And don't lie, 'cause we real men. I was gonna say real niggas, we real men. Was that damn food good?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't cook that shit.
Absolutely.
I ain't gonna eat that.
No,
I got a cake, no, I didn't. Chef JL was here.
No, yeah. All right, Chef JL, I seen you though. I seen you.
He be looking like me, but that was
It was definitely good.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hey, we want to thank everybody for joining in the Pinpoint Podcast. We hope y'all enjoyed Mr. Eric McKenith, and we hope you guys, the story was about not to, as he say, glorify anything about gangbanging, being crib banging, but just giving you the life, how you get caught up, and how he's conditioned, how God bless him to condition himself to come out to be a better person. Going in, robbing banks in suit, is really ironic that he come out guarding a motherfucker he don't even know with all his money in a suit that he would have got in a suit when he was young, in that suit. Y'all know what I'm talking about? But hey, Pinpoint Podcast. We hope y'all follow us on Pinpoint YouTube, Pinpoint Foundation. We'd like to thank y'all. Continue to visit. And remember, all things is real estate, because the real estate he talked about is getting into investment. Hey, Pinpoint Podcast, we out.